Welcome to the life you crave. Simple and sustainable weight loss for women who have better things to do than diet. I'm your host, Leah Pinelli. I help ambitious, badass women stop overeating, overworking, and overgiving to lose weight from a place of love. I'll help you simplify weight loss, end your overwhelm, and create the life you crave. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to this podcast. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Life You Crave podcast. I'm really excited to chat with you guys today about goal weight versus happy weight and what the difference is between the two and why it is so important that you figure out what your happy weight is. And I'm going to tell you how to do that on today's podcast. So I don't know about for you, but for me, I used to feel like to achieve my goal weight and to live at my goal weight was a total catch-22. It seemed like there was just two options: either feel good about my body and my weight, but then be starving and miserable with food. Or I could feel nourished and pleasured by food, but then feel terrible carrying unwanted weight. It really didn't seem fair. Now, of course, these two competing desires to eat well and to lose unwanted weight led to decades of yo-yo dieting and, unfortunately, disordered eating, as it has for many of you and for many of us. Nothing ever worked. I would deprive myself to lose the weight only to eventually give in, right? Or live a little, which always led to regaining that lost weight and then some. I yearned for something sustainable. I was perpetually searching for something that would allow me to feel good in my own skin, but that also didn't relegate me to eating oatmeal and fat-free salads for the rest of my life. So when I was 39, I found what I now call my happy weight, the operative word being happy. And I have maintained that weight for 6 years. On today's show, I'm excited to share with you what my definition of happy weight is and how you can find yours too. And if you want to hear my full story about my journey with weight loss and finding my happy weight, you can check out, I have a special highlight called My Story on my Instagram page. You can go check it out anytime. All right, let's dive into what is your goal weight versus your happy weight. We are all familiar with this idea of goal weight, right? We've all heard it a million times. It's that ever-elusive number on the scale that you imagine you'd feel you're most confident at. Or maybe it's the number you think you should weigh because that's what you weighed when you were 20. Or perhaps you got your goal weight from that nearly biblical BMI chart. But either way, you got your number and you're sticking to it. That's your goal weight. Before we talk about the difference between goal weight and happy weight, we need to talk about one other type of weight, and that is your natural weight. Natural weight, my definition of natural weight, is the number on the scale when you are not struggling with food or hunger. When you are someone who almost never overeats and never eats when she's not physically hungry, whatever the number is on the scale, that's your natural weight. Now, we all know this type of person, right? They eat to live instead of live to eat. They enjoy themselves, but they never really seem to overdo it. And they seem to be able to pass on the staff room cookies or partake in a cookie. They're kind of indifferent. These people don't struggle with food. And as a byproduct, they often don't struggle with weight either. Okay. Yes, I know. I used to hate those people too until I became one. But that's another story for another time. So your happy weight is what you weigh when you reach your natural weight and you feel good in the skin that you're in. And I don't just mean like I'm accepting the skin that I'm in. I mean, you feel good. Like you feel like when you put on that dress and go to that event, you feel good. That is your happy weight. And just like someone who lives at their natural weight, you do too. And you're happy with your weight at that place. That is the definition of happy weight, excuse me. So the goal weight is usually some number that got picked out as something, somewhere, somehow, for some reason. And your happy weight is actually determined by your relationship with food and how you feel about your body. And when you find that sweet spot, that, my friends, is your happy weight. And it feels so, so good. So you know that you're at your happy weight when you love your food, when you love what you're eating, when it tastes so good and you're so happy to eat it. You know you're at your happy weight when you rarely overeat and you don't have the desire to overeat. You know you're at your happy weight when you love what you eat and how you eat it. So your relationship with food feels good and healthy. You know you're at your happy weight when you rarely suffer from strong cravings. And you know you're at your happy weight when you love the way that you think about your body and your weight. So this is an important distinction because you can get to your natural weight, meaning you're not struggling with food. You don't think there's anything about the way that you're eating that needs to be improved, and yet you're not happy with your weight. Then you're not going to be happy. You can also get to your goal weight and not be happy with that either. Because you could find that at your goal weight, you're suffering because you're feeling deprived. You're not enjoying your food. So your happy weight really has to be that combination of both, of feeling good in the skin that you're in and feeling really good about your relationship with food. Happiness is an inside job. So you can get to your natural weight and still not be happy. You can get to your goal weight and still not be happy, but you can't get to your happy weight and not be happy, right? But happiness is an inside job. And what I mean by that is happiness comes from your brain. It comes from deciding that you are lovable and that you like what you see. I have a whole episode on this where I talked about Lizzo and her reality TV show, Watch Out for the Big Girls. And I highly recommend that you go back and listen to that one. Because really, truly, it is a state of mind. It has nothing to do with your weight or your size. It has to do with how you feel about you. And the other piece of that, though, is you can also decide that you want to lose weight and still feel good in your body now. You don't have to hate your body in order to change it. The magic is when you stop struggling. That's the whole point. Then you can do the work on your brain to feel happy in the skin that you're in. When you are able to release your battle with food, when you are able to feel at peace with food and then watch your body drop to its natural weight, then you can do that work to love yourself. But I know for me, I really struggled because I didn't so much have a problem with the extra weight that I was carrying. I had a problem with how much I thought about food, how much I was constantly thinking and planning and having remorse and knowing I was overeating and feeling out of control with it. That was what needed fixing for me. And once I was able to fix that, I was able to drop 30 pounds and love the skin I'm in and love what and how I was eating for the first time in my entire life. So I have something special for you guys today. I have created an assessment. What kind of overeater are you assessment? And you can get that assessment at leahpinelli.com. If you head over and you can download it. The assessment is designed to help you figure out why is it that you're overeating in the first place? Because it's not simple. There isn't just one solution to overeating. And the reason there isn't one solution for everyone is because we all overeat for different reasons. But those reasons can be kind of grouped into categories to help you figure out, okay, I know I'm not at my happy weight, but I also am really struggling with my relationship with food. How do I get there? How do I get to my happy weight? It starts by taking this assessment. The assessment's going to ask you questions like, do you have strong cravings for certain foods that you wish you could eat less of? Do you find yourself thinking a lot about food or planning or obsessing even? I used to feel like I was obsessing. Do you feel like food has power over you? Do you often feel hungry? Do you get hangry, right? These are actually indicators that there is a hormonal imbalance, potentially even metabolic dysfunction. And I'm not saying that you have metabolic dysfunction, but I'm just saying that these are some of the indicators. And when you take the time to really dig in, and this assessment is quick, you guys, it's 20 quick true or false questions. But when you take the time to figure it out, and I offer solutions right there on the assessment, when you take the time to figure it out, then you can actually solve the problem. If you're eating when you don't want to be eating, or if you feel such strong desire that you can't resist, I'm telling you that you will not be at your happy weight until you do the work to really figure out, okay, is the way that I'm eating a result of a biochemical imbalance, which is what the assessment will help you to figure out? Is the way that I'm eating the result of emotional eating? Is it a combination of both? So head over to leahpinelli.com and grab that assessment. It's free. It's totally free. So what I want to leave you with here today is that happy weight has to do with how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your body, how you feel about your relationship with food. And that includes loving your food, enjoying your food. In order to arrive at your happy weight, you really do have to learn to stop overeating. And you don't learn to stop overeating by beating yourself up or having more discipline or more willpower or any of that. We stop overeating when we learn the reasons that we're overeating in the first place. You also have to stop over-desiring food, which again, that is something that can be learned. Why am I having these strong cravings to begin with? And how can I undo those cravings? Because you can. We do in my 90 Days to Food Freedom program every single day. And then finally, in order to arrive at your happy weight, you really do have to stop emotional overeating. But again, this isn't just something you just say, oh, I'm going to stop it, and you stop it. There are steps. There's a system. There's a formula that you can learn. And once you do these three things, you will arrive at your natural weight. And for many of my clients, most of my clients, their natural weight happens to be their happy weight because it's effortless, minimal effort, maximal pleasure. That is the mantra. That is required. For me, my happy weight was actually lower than my goal weight. Originally, my first goal was just to get into the quote unquote normal range of the BMI. Again, that was my goal weight, was just to get to that, just to the very top of the normal range of the BMI. Why? Because I just wanted to be able to go to the doctor for once and not be overweight, right? I mean, it was just totally arbitrary. But what I found is as I continued to stop emotional eating and to change what I was eating and how I was eating in a way that was truly supportive to my body, I continued to lose weight until I was actually smack dab in the middle of the normal range of the BMI for my height. And that was shocking to me because I weighed less than I ever weighed in my adult life, even in high school. Now, to be honest with you, that weight, that in that mid-range of the BMI, it wasn't actually my happy weight. Right? That weight was a little on the skinny side for my preference. I like my curves. I like my boobs. I didn't want to lose it all. So, that's when you can adjust. You can say, just because there's this chart that says I should weigh this amount doesn't mean anything. What matters is how I feel in my own skin and with my own relationship with food. So as many of you know, I now teach high-achieving, career-driven women just like myself how to disrupt their own diet mentality so that they can find and sustain their happy weight. If you want to learn more about that and to grab that assessment, you just head on over to leahpinelli.com and I will be waiting for you there. Ciao.
You've been listening to The Life You Crave. I lost 30 pounds years ago without dieting, willpower, or deprivation. I'm on a mission to help other women, including you, do the same. You can book a free weight loss strategy session with me over at leahpinelli.com. That's LIAPINELLI.com. See you on our next call or on the next episode. And remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on iTunes.